Hello, hello. This is Toni Weel from a rainy Florida. It's good. The plants got soaked. They needed it. Yes, I already said. I'm Toni Weel. We have with us Gary Parent and of course Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. I always love that name, Virtuous Unicorns. It's something magical, Sara. And we have Katie with us and a guest, and we're going to start with her, Svetlana. I think she is all the way up north in Europe.
Romania,
Romania.
exactly. Yes,
Okay. So yeah, different time zone. It's evening for her.
yes.
And she wanted to talk, and I invited her to talk about what she is going through and how we can further help her. And I would definitely love to hear from Gary on that. But Svetlana, go ahead and let's talk about what you have been doing and the reason that you started this whole process and what you're doing now.
Okay. So I started this journey like a year and a half ago when I found out about Dr. Robert Morse and I read his book. And I wanted to make a change because my son had lots of allergies and asthma since he was born. And also, I don't have any disease, how they are called, but I just had low blood pressure, low body temperature, always had cold feet. I had very weak hair and nails. Um, no, not something serious, and I had a fibroid. And these reasons made me enter this journey together with my son. And we started with a transitional diet at first, which made us feel very weak in the beginning. Then we slowly went into fruit. This summer, we did 1 month of fruit before Easter, and after Easter, we did again like 2 months of fruit, saunas, dry brushing, a lot of walking, staying in nature, sun, and all of that. And I am surprised not to see anything for me, not to see any results, meaning my body temperature did not raise, my blood pressure did not raise, my fibroid, yes, did shrink a little bit, but I expected it to disappear. I was so confident that I did not have it anymore when I went to the doctor, but I still do. So I'm a little discouraged, let's say.
Gary, would you like to go into that?
Yeah, so the one thing I didn't hear was, are you doing any breath work?
Yes, I forgot to mention, I watched some of your videos that Toni posted, and I tried to do the deep breathing, not any technique in particular, but deep breathings every day.
Okay. And how is that going for you? Are you able to take a deep breath?
Yes, I am able, but at the beginning, I felt I have some blockages. I did feel that I was not able to take a deep breath very easily, but after time and exercise, it's better now.
Good. Did you do some lion's breaths? Do you remember that one where you breathe in, tip your head back, smile, and then you stick your tongue out, open your airway?
No, I saw the video, but I did not try this
Okay.
thing.
Because the toxins are heavier and they settle in the bottom of the lungs. And that's where most of your oxygen blood transfer takes place, is in the bottom of the lungs.
Oh,
So when we're doing deep breath like that, deep breathing, it's a good idea to clean the lungs out first so the air goes in deeper and that way you get more oxygen. Uh, what do you have? Do you doing herbs, Dr. Morse herbs?
Yes, a lot, a lot. I took a
Uh,
lot of herbs. Me and my son, we had like 10 at a time and just took a lot of herbs.
okay. Um, are you eating other food other than fruit?
No, no,
No, just
I
fruit.
said no. But I stopped like 3 weeks ago. I was telling you that I ate 2 months now recently, and I stopped because my weight was like 39 kilos, and I was looking really, really, really bad. And everyone was asking me if I'm sick or something. You know,
Right.
people are very people are usually when they see you all of the sudden being so thin, they think that you are suffering from something.
Did you have any cold and flu-like symptoms during that time?
I have running nose, but it's just running like water.
Right. Right. So
But
you're clear.
I had symptoms. I had detoxing symptoms since last year, since I started. I also had some water fastings, which led to some symptoms. I had an eye infection at the time, like something yellow running through my eyes,
Uh-huh.
to the point that I just could not see anymore. It was awful. And I had to go to the doctor and take antibiotics, unfortunately, because it was like 3 weeks going on and no results, no getting better. I used Parasite M in my eyes. I used Hilol T, but I water fasted for 5 days, and because of that, I think my kidneys were not filtering or something. Because of that, I started to have this eye infection. And
Okay. Let me see. What was I? I was going to go somewhere. So, you have had anything like a trauma from your past, or uh, any injuries, or uh, see,
physical
I
injuries or
yeah, physical
psychological?
or yeah, physical, psychological.
Physical,
Had
no.
some,
Physical, no, but psychological, maybe yes, because I grew up in a kind of a dysfunctional family with my parents
okay.
divorced. My father was an alcoholic, and maybe this.
So, what I'm getting a sense of is you're emotionally hanging on to something, and
Probably.
that's why things are getting stuck in your body. Now, the fruit is starting to clear some of that, but it's going to take more than that. Now, every emotion is attached to a breath. Because when you first said you couldn't take a deep breath at first, and then over time it started to open, okay,
Yes.
that's usually your body is quite closed down. So
Mm-hmm.
above, so below, right?
Yes,
And
that makes
so,
sense.
so if your mind is chaotic and it doesn't have a direction to go in, or if it's looking at the past, your breath is still in the past. Your ability to breathe is in the past. And when we bring the past into the now, it colors our future. And we have a hard time to let go of things. So could you think of something that was caused a lot of trauma in your life when you were little? You know, like I know your parents got divorced, but
the absence of my father and the mother, which was not available emotionally for us because she was overwhelmed. And now I understand her completely, but probably then I felt very abandoned as a child.
yeah. See, the mind can forgive, it can also forget, but the body hangs on forever until we release the breath that we pull that in on. So the in breath turns on the sympathetic fight or flight, and the exhale turns on the parasympathetic rest, digest, and heal. So as your body is tense from these past traumas that you're carrying, it gets tense and it's harder for the absorption to happen, even with fruits, berries, and melons. But obviously it was working because you're getting some results. Of the fibrous tumor was smaller. And if you don't mind me asking, where is that fibrous tumor?
Behind the uterus, they said.
Okay.
So it's not inside, it's outside in the
It's
back.
out. Okay.
Yes.
Um, do you feel, I'll make sure I get so you know that different emotions trap in the body in different areas. Like
Yes.
depression is in the lungs, uh, fear is in the liver. Excuse me, anger is in the liver, fear is in the kidneys, fright is in the knees, and the almost like being a victim, carrying shame. That's usually around the womb,
Hmm?
and so if there's an issue there, then that could be why that grew there.
Yes.
Does that resonate with you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to ask Toni this question. Is it okay, Toni, if we do some EFT?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So, are you familiar with EFT? I mean, I know you are, Toni. Uh, so,
Me?
if you're familiar, yes.
I don't know what EFT is.
Okay. So, we're going to be tapping on the electrical system,
Okay.
and we're going to go right beside the eyebrow here. We're going to tap. Okay.
Here.
And then off to the end of the eyebrow here, under the eye here. These are all electrical points. Right underneath the nose, underneath the bottom lip, okay? And right at the collarbones. All right. Now, we'll wait on that. Although we should probably. Are you familiar with the 6 lymphatic gates? I have them in my videos, but a lot of times the lymph gets caught in our body and things can't flow because our gates aren't open. So our lymphatic system is huge, as it's the bathroom of the body. The blood is the kitchen, brings oxygen, hydration, and nutrition to the cells, but they have to be able to absorb it. And once they absorb it, they digest it and they eliminate a 3 pH acidic waste. And the lymphatic system is the bathroom. It comes up and it picks that up and takes it to a lymph node. And as it goes through the lymph nodes, it's changing the alkalinity to like a 6, so you can pee it out or poop it out and it doesn't burn you. So we're going to open 2 gates. So above, right next to your neck, above your collarbone, and under your collarbone. I usually hold my hands like this. So one's above, one's below. Okay. And we go down in by the neck. If that's a little sore, we just rub that. And then we tap it and rub. And what direction you rub in doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. Okay. And the body's has a left and right side. The left side doesn't know the right side exists, and the right side doesn't know the left side exists. So we have to open the gate on the left side too, or on the other side for you. And then we tap. And some people have instant relief from this. I've had people with a lot of pain from TMJ. Once we go to this second gate, this is gate 1. All lymph in the body has to come to this gate. Okay. So right behind your earlobe, above your jaw, there's a little hole there. Okay. That's the largest lymph node in your neck. And your uh your arteries, your autonomic nerve or the vagus nerve comes out through these. Okay. So now that you've rubbed on that, we're going to slide right down that big muscle on the side of your neck. These are all lymph nodes right here. And we're dragging that down to
I
gate
have
1.
this in my eyes a lot. I saw that I have lymph nodes.
Okay. So you're clearing your throat. So are you getting congestion in your throat by doing that?
No, but I used to get infections in my throat all my life, so I know I have
Okay.
a problem here somewhere.
Okay. So now we do the other ear, right behind it, your earlobe, that little hole right there. You should do this every day.
Okay.
And I have videos with the 6 lymphatic gates. And then we drag down the muscle again, drag right down, and we're dragging all that. So what this does is it will get rid of forgetfulness, brain fog, Alzheimer's, and dementia. Because if these are plugged, it backs up in the house, the lymph, and it can really affect you big time. So, all right. So now we're going to do the EFT. So if there's anything that needs to move, it'll come out through here and it'll go right into gate 1, and the body will be able to eliminate it through the 13 channels of elimination. So we're going to start tapping right next to the eyebrow, right here. Okay. And you're going to repeat after me. Even though
Even though
I feel shame deep within my body,
I feel shame deep within my body,
off to the side now, I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
It does not serve me.
It does not serve me.
It never has served me.
It never has served me.
It's caused a lot of limitation in my life.
It caused a lot of limitations in my life,
And I don't need it.
and I don't need it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
So I choose to let it go.
So I choose to let it go.
Under the nose, I let it go.
I let it go.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
On your collarbones, I let it go
I let it go
because it was never my problem to begin with.
because it was never my problem to begin with.
It was an act placed upon me
It was an act placed upon me
when I could not defend myself.
when I could not defend myself.
But I survived it.
But I survived it.
Up to the edge of the eyebrow now, which makes me a survivor.
Which makes me a survivor.
I am stronger
I'm stronger
than the situation.
than the situation.
So I choose to let it go.
So I choose to let it go.
Take a deep breath through your nose and hold it. And when you exhale, give your body permission to relax. So a scale of 1 to 10, where are we in far as like being comfortable goes? Are you getting any energetic movement in your body?
I feel emotional right now.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good.
Does
Uh,
this have anything to in relationship with acupuncture?
yeah, this
Like,
is on the whole electrical system in our breathing. Okay. When we breathe in through the nose, we create nitric oxide, which helps the body relax the heart and the arteries so that they're more flexible. Okay. So as we're going through this, you're going to have, do you feel lighter?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And uh, this is so important that we get this out, because these are the things that are causing some of the physical, they're expressing themselves through physical situations like the fibroid tumor,
Mm-hmm.
some of the other things that are going on in your body. Can we do another round of EFT?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. We're going to start at the edge of the eyebrow. Yep, this one right here. Okay. Take just a inhale and just exhale, nice and slow. I give my heart permission
I give my heart permission
to heal,
to heal,
to expand.
to expand.
The energy that is trapped within it,
The energy that is trapped within it,
I let it go.
I let it go.
I can feel it expanding in my body.
I can feel it expanding in my body.
What happened was not my fault.
What happened was not my fault.
It never was my fault.
It never was my fault.
So I forgive myself
So I forgive myself
for taking it on for all these years.
for taking it all for all these years.
So I can let it go.
So I can let it go
All day,
all day,
every day.
every day.
From this moment on,
From this moment on,
I can breathe freely.
I can breathe freely.
I can move freely
I can move freely
because it's safe to breathe.
because it's safe to breathe.
I can feel it in my body.
I can feel it in my body.
I feel the pain coming to the surface.
I feel the pain coming through the surface.
And I feel it leaving my body.
And I feel it leaving my body.
I love my body.
I love my body.
I love my life.
I love my life.
It's okay to be me.
It's okay to be me.
There's no one else to be.
There's no one else to be.
And all those people that influenced me,
And all these people who influenced me
it made me believe
and made me believe
that I am not worthy
that I am not worthy
and that things are my fault,
and that things are my fault
are just kidding themselves
are just kidding themselves
because they're the ones in pain
because they are the ones in pain
and they push their pain
and they push their pain
onto me
onto me
when I couldn't defend myself.
when I couldn't defend myself.
So I'm going deep inside myself.
I'm going deep inside myself.
And I'm putting my hand out to hold the hand of that little girl that lives in me.
And I'm putting my hand on that little girl who lives in me.
And tell her that it's safe.
And I'm telling her that it's safe.
And that she's okay.
And she's okay.
And that's not going to happen again.
And that's not going to happen again.
And that you love her.
And that I love her.
And it's time that we have a great time for the rest of our lives.
And it's time that we have a great time for the rest of our lives.
We can play.
We can play.
We can laugh.
We can laugh.
We can dance to music.
We can dance to music.
All the things I've always wanted to do.
All the things I've always wanted to do.
It's time to do it right now.
It's time to do it right now.
To release the past.
To release the past.
And step into the now.
And step into the now.
The beautiful, powerful, infinite now.
The powerful, infinite now.
I am an infinite being.
I'm an infinite being.
In an infinite universe.
In an infinite universe.
With infinite potential.
With infinite potential.
Living in a world of abundance.
Living in a world of abundance.
And I was taught.
And I was taught.
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
Scarcity.
Scarcity.
And fear.
And fear.
And I let all that go.
And I let all that go.
All of the illusion.
All of the illusions.
That I took on as truth.
That I took on as truth.
And it's not true.
It's not true.
So I set myself free.
So I set myself free.
Me and that little beautiful girl that lives inside me.
Me and that beautiful little girl who lives inside me.
Can you feel her smiling? Deep breath through the nose, head back, smile. And when you exhale, just feel your whole body relax. How was that?
Very releasing.
All right. I love that. I can see by the smile on your face that you and that little person inside you are going to have an amazing life, an infinite life of laughter and happiness, that you can dance and you can sing and you can play like you've always wanted to do but never dared to. Doesn't matter what other people think. Doesn't matter what other people do or what they say. You were here to be you. That beautiful, beautiful person that you are, full of love and happiness.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. Stay with the fruit, stay with the herbs, and you will see many shifts in your body now because you are becoming that person of infinite power that lives within you as you breathe and you release. And go watch the 6 lymphatic gates and start those gates going, because as they get congested, things start to back up behind it, and that's what causes all these issues.
Blockages.
Yes. And they're all going away. They're all going away right now. They're leaving.
Hardly wait.
How powerful you are.
We all are. But we
Yes.
just don't know.
Yes. Yes, because the people around us are trying to control us because they're out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hurting, and hurting people hurt people.
Exactly.
And when we see their story and we really listen, be the observer in our lives, and we listen to what other people are saying, that we it's not a wall, it's an understanding. Like for me, all information goes here and then it comes to me. And here is keeps me from being emotionally driven by it. So when it comes here, then it comes to me. I can reason with it and I listen to everything that they say. I'm not trying to answer their question before they ask it all. Because we have a tendency, and I'm assuming this is around the world. Have you
Yes.
ever held your own energy? Have you ever held your own energy?
Mm,
Okay. So
no.
take your fingernails and just rub them together so that it's on the faces of the fingernails rubbing together.
Oh,
Okay. Nice deep breath through the nose. And just relax when you exhale. Okay. And when you put your hands down, you should feel them tingle. So if you put your hands apart like that, can you feel them tingle?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now put them together and rub them, and they'll get warm. And when you stop, you can feel the heat and the tingling in there. And then just slowly open and you push, and it will push back. Can you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now what I
Oh,
want you to do is take a deep breath through your nose and place that energy right over your heart. And you should have a little bit of a heart buzz there. So your heart is opening. It's like a flower and it's starting to blossom and it's opening the love to the world. All that love you carry in you that's been suppressed is starting to explode in your heart and going out into the universe. And it's coloring your universe, and your whole world will change as you do that, as
okay.
that open.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you for sitting with me during this.
I thank you. It's
And
very, very useful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
it's such a beautiful smile. And I can see the light and the energy around you now that you didn't have when you came in, and that will continue to grow and blossom and spread, and it will draw all new people into your life. And it's not that the other people are going to go away, but you'll have a love and kindness for them that you didn't have before, and they'll be able to feel it. We don't forgive people for them. We forgive them because we deserve
Correct.
not to carry the burden, right? And
Correct.
that's what we're doing. We're letting that energy go so that we have more room for love in our
Exactly.
lives.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I loved working with you. You have such a kind heart and a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
And it's time to let it shine on the world.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So do we have anything else, Toni? I don't know. I think it's just you and me. So what
I was gonna say, Gary, we're still here too, but I don't know if Toni stepped away for a minute or not. But yeah, please continue. I'm sorry.
no, uh, I was wondering if anybody else had anything to say or do or
I think that's wonderful what you said, Gary. And not only can that benefit Svetlana, but that can benefit almost everybody listening by doing that tapping and releasing those energies that we all keep pent up within us and just letting it go. That's very, very important for everyone. So anyone listening, I would definitely rewind this and go through that process that Gary just took her through and do that tapping and releasing of all those energies too.
Yeah, and a lot of times when the fruits, berries, and melons and veggies aren't working, it's because we're emotionally we're stuck. And if we're stuck here, we're stuck here. So to open that up and let that blossom out into the world is mind blowing how powerful it is. And I've been through it myself. So uh, things don't always evolve like we want them to from our past growing up. So to take that back, to take that power, to hold that within us and be okay with ourselves. Another thing that can be done is grounding to the earth with our bare feet. Just take our shoes off, go outside, put your feet on the ground, as long as it's not sprayed, but natural land. And what that does is it changes us electrically, because the ground has a negative electromagnetic field. Our red blood cells carry a negative electromagnetic charge. And if we're not constantly grounding to the ground or eating live foods eating live foods, once we touch the ground, all our red blood cells get recharged and they separate so they can travel through the body faster and more complete. They're not they kind of stick together. Like it'll move through in a big clump. And when you hit the ground with your bare feet or your hands, almost instantly they recharge and separate, which will give us a lot better health. When we breathe in through the nose, we're creating nitric oxide, but the breath goes right into the bone marrow. And we can breathe anywhere in the body. So where that fibrous tumor is, you put your focus on that. And when you breathe, the energy, the healing energy, and that's what you want, okay? I'm sending healing energy to that area where that fibrous tumor is to heal it. Because the energy creates matter.
Yeah.
And energy is what heals matter. It's the lack of energy that causes dis-ease. So if we think this is divine energy, or we see this as divine energy, and our energy lowers, it doesn't mean but you'll be susceptible to things like cold and flu and fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's and MS and Parkinson's and cancer. These are all frequencies. So through breath, and because of the emotions that are trapped in our body, that's what lowers our energy. Our breath changes. Like if we get in cold water, we go, right? Or if we get scared, we're breathing that in. That inhale is the fight or flight part of our body. And the exhale, so when we exhale, we should exhale longer than we inhale. And that turns on rest, digest, and heal. So if we did let's do a box breath. We're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to do a count of 4. So, and then we're going to hold for 4. And then we're going to exhale for 6. And then we're going to hold for 4. Then we're going to inhale for 4. And then just relax and exhale. Now, to do that without counting is the best way, but I mean, this is just to show you how to set it up, right? So you inhale, you exhale, you hold, then you exhale longer, hold, and inhale. You do that 5 times in a row, and your whole body will just completely relax. I've had people.
Exhale longer than inhale. Exhale.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Inhale and hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. And you just feel your whole body relax. I've had people with PTSD from Vietnam that hadn't slept in years. And I told them to do 10 of those a night. They've never made it past 5. They sleep all night long.
Wow.
That's how powerful. We're the commander in chief of our bodies. And we've been trained to believe we're victims. We're not victims. Not victims at all. We are powerful beyond measure.
That's right.
And to step into that and own that takes love, takes kindness and understanding. That's why so many people are sick right now, because they've lost their power. They don't know that they can generate. This is a filtering system that generates energy.
And they
And that,
consider themselves victims. And
yes,
like,
right. And once we get past the victim part and we start to heal, and we take that child that's inside us and we take their hand and we go, I love you, and we don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. It's time you and I go out and party and have some fun and dance and sing and laugh and play, just like we always wanted to do. And I mean, that's our power, is our childness, our childlike things. You know, in the Qigong class, we have a ball we throw around, and I mean, the whole thing is about conversation, laughter, and movement and breath. And that's what we do. Sometimes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Nothing can exist in an alkaline body, and 70% of your detox is through your mouth, through your breath.
mm-hmm.
So if you take your hand and just hold it up and just blow on it, this is the duality of your breath. Now go. And it'll be warm.
Yes.
So if your body gets too hot inside, cools it down. And if it gets if it gets too hot, we can cool it down by, and if it gets too cold, we know we have heat.
Wow.
You do cold baths?
No, I can't really. I can't stand the cold.
How about
When I do a sauna, I did try when I entered the shower to stay a little bit in cold water. I did try because it was easier, but otherwise I can't.
okay. So once you do your shower, just back it down so that it feels cool,
Mm-hmm.
and just leave that, and just do that a few days. If you need
Okay.
a little warmer, a little colder, you know, it's just going to depend on you, because you're in charge, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And over time, you'll be able to back that down a little bit more. If that's your
Okay.
mindset, if that's
Mm-hmm.
your intention, you'll get used to it. And then you'll be able to adjust it more over time.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about detox. You know, when you're doing your fruits, berries, melons, herbs, tinctures, sometimes we need to start out slow and move into it. Some people can just start. I just started. What's the longest you've done a fast with no food?
5 days.
5 days?
Yes.
Okay.
But the 5th day I was barely walking. I could barely walk, so this
Okay.
is why I stopped.
Yep. Sounds like a good idea. We need to start listening to our body, because our body's talking to us 24/7, and we're not paying attention. It's like our head's not attached to our body anymore. So
Mhm.
you went 5 days, then you knew it was time to get off. You know, I've done 30 days.
Wow.
And that 31st day, I knew it was time to go back to eating. I couldn't wait. But I try to do 32 ounces of, well, I use the Master Cleanse, but I try to do 32 ounces of that every day. Are you doing a lot of live liquids?
Not drinking much liquid.
Okay.
No. Especially when I'm eating so much fruit, I'm never thirsty. I never
Well, that's good.
drink water.
Yep, that's good. Because the fruit is the energy of the day it was picked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's biologically updating your body every time you eat fruit. And it is cleansing.
I thought I have a problem because I don't drink too much water. But
that's okay. That's okay. Because the liquid, that's a sterilized container, and the liquid in there is designed specifically for your body.
yes, I know. Mm-hmm.
And so you're getting all those beautiful enzymes, electrolytes, vitamins, minerals, all from that vitamin C. But if you see, Dr. Morse would say you have a choice. You got to a point where you really started, people like, okay, what's going on, right? Because your body was, I'm not saying it was weak. I'm saying it looked like it was weak from the cleaning, from the cleansing. He would say, this is where you have a choice. You can start eating or you can push through it. And you, because you made the decision, it was the right decision to start eating again. Because you knew that your body needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And have you done one since then? Have you done a
No,
fast since?
no, because I was getting too thin.
Yep.
I had 39 kilos and what to
Yes.
lose anymore. I would try, but I don't know if it's safe.
Well, see, you're the only one that can decide that. And we do it by listening to our body. If you do it again, you might be able to go 6 days. You might only be able to go 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be able to do 10.
Without losing weight, you mean? Because I heard this is possible as well.
Well,
Not
you're going to lose toxins, maybe fluids.
Mm-hmm.
And because your body's doing it, that's what's flushing out all the stuff that doesn't belong there. Because your body is I think that fibers, I think that's emotion. And I think maybe we release some of that. It'd be interesting to see the next time we go if it's moved, if it's shrunk, because you feel lighter, you feel happier. This, from what I'm seeing, okay, and I can see it in your smile and in your eyes that that movement frees up tissue. And if you start opening up the 6 lymphatic gates, then you'll have a lot more movement, a lot more expression. The body will start pushing things out that doesn't belong there because it's stuck right now. And I think what made it stick was emotion.
Yes.
And that's kind of what's happening there.
I
So
think so too. Mm-hmm.
good. Is there anything else you'd like to work on?
I don't know.
Okay. Emotional thing, what comes up when you think about it? Because a lot of times when we're going through emotional stuff, other emotional things will start to pop up.
I think you said what emotion was predominantly in my body, and that I think was shame. And then
Yep.
I do think I have another emotion, which is guilt.
Okay. That's where guilt lays too. Right there in that
They
same
are
area.
related. They are both related.
Yes. Yeah. So do you want to do some EFT on that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start right here in the eyebrow. Even though I have guilt,
Even though I have guilt.
do you know why you have it? I don't need to know. Do you know why you have guilt?
Many, yeah.
Okay.
Many.
So even though I have guilt,
Even though I have guilt,
and I know why,
and I know why,
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
It does not serve me,
It does not serve me,
never has served me.
never has served me.
It's only held me back
It has only held me back.
and caused many limitations in my life.
It caused many limitations in my life.
So I let it go.
So I let it go.
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
It's not my guilt.
It's not my guilt.
Someone made me feel that way,
Someone made me feel that way,
and it wasn't fair.
and it wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair because I couldn't defend myself.
It wasn't fair because I couldn't defend myself.
So I let it go.
So I let it go.
I let it go.
I let it go.
Inhale through the nose. Hold. And the exhale, blow it right out. Let it go. This guilt does not define me,
This guilt does not define me,
even though I've made it seem that way.
even though I made it seem like that.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't want it anymore.
I don't want it anymore.
I let it go.
I let it go.
I let it go.
I let it go.
It does not define me.
It does not define me.
Never did define me.
Never did define me.
I let it go.
I let it go.
It does not define me.
It does not define me.
I am stronger than the guilt.
I am stronger than the guilt.
I am stronger than the shame.
I'm stronger than the shame.
I'm stronger than the guilt.
I'm stronger than the guilt.
I've always been stronger than the guilt.
I've always been stronger than the guilt.
Even though I allowed the guilt,
Even though
I
I
allowed
allowed
the guilt
the guilt
and the shame
and the shame
to define me.
to define me.
No more.
No more.
No more guilt.
No more guilt.
No more shame.
No more shame.
Wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault.
So I choose to let it go.
So I choose to let it go.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It doesn't live in me anymore.
It doesn't live in me anymore.
It doesn't occupy my brain
It doesn't occupy my brain
or my body.
or my body.
It was a belief
It was a belief
when I couldn't defend myself.
when I couldn't defend myself.
So I let it go.
So I let it go.
Yep, it's gone.
It's gone.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
Feels so good to just let it go.
It feels so good to let it go.
I let it go.
I let it go.
It's so powerful.
It's so powerful
Let it go.
to let it go.
I feel free.
I feel free,
Free to be me.
free to be me.
to laugh
to laugh
and dance
and dance
and play
and play
like I've never laughed and danced and played before.
like I never danced and laughed and played before.
I can feel the laughter growing in my body.
I can feel the laughter growing in my body,
And right behind it
and right behind it
is a big energy ball of love.
is a big energy ball of love.
As it grows,
As it grows,
I grow,
I grow,
and I can feel it growing
and I can feel it growing
with forgiveness
with forgiveness
for anything and everything
for anything and everything
that's happened in my life
that's happened in my life
up to this moment right now.
up to this moment.
Deep breath, hold it. And just exhale and let it all go. I am at peace
I'm at peace
with myself,
with myself,
with my inner self,
with my inner self,
and all living creatures on earth.
and all living creatures on earth.
We are all one energy.
With that one energy,
I move freely through life.
I move freely to life, through life,
Yes. In the directions that I want to go,
in the directions that I want to go,
without worry,
without worry,
without fear
without fear
of judgment,
of judgment,
because all judgment
because all judgment
that is said to me
that is sent to me
is said through the fear of the person who said it.
is said through the fear that of the person who said it. Right.
And I
Mhm.
see it,
And I see it,
I hear it,
I hear it,
but I don't let it in.
but I don't let it in.
It's not mine,
It's not mine,
not my fear.
not my fear.
It's their fear.
It's their fear.
And all I can do
And all I can do
is love them,
is to love them,
even though
even though
they cannot love themselves.
they cannot love themselves.
So I love them
So I love them
in spite of that.
in spite of that.
And I will help them
And I will help them
in any way I can.
in any way I can.
And if I can't,
And if I can't,
someone else will.
someone else will.
It's not my burden.
It's not my burden.
Deep breath through the nose and hold it. And the exhale, just feel your whole body relax. It feels so good just to let go of all the guilt and the shame and all the stuff that was placed on my shoulders and my back and my head. It's just relaxing. Deep breath through the nose. And just relax.
Fall asleep.
Now that's a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You still with us, Sarah?
Yes, I am. That was
There you are.
beautiful. Yes, that was absolutely
Oh.
beautiful. And I was thinking as you were saying that in the very beginning, what if we know the guilt that we feel, but we caused it? It wasn't that we were a victim of it. How would you change the wording in the very beginning? Would it be something like, I'm no longer that person, or I've learned from that, or I don't know how you would change that wording?
Well, it'd be interesting. There is a reason that they put that on themselves. Because you can't do it without thought. And something in the environment, something happened. Maybe somebody else had guilt and you go, hey, I have that. And you place that on yourself. I think I would still use the same approach, but even though I placed this guilt on myself, I choose to let it go because I was influenced by my surrounding, by the conversation, by the energy that I was around, that it made me feel guilty. It made me feel shame. So I choose to let it go. For each case, it would be individual. So what happens is even through the internet, I feel the energy. As the energy moves in the person, it moves in my body, and I can tell when it's being released.
Like you can feel the frequency or hear the frequency in their voice and see it in their face too.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I feel it. It comes right up into my heart. It comes right out. And when it leaves, it comes up in the throat. Like a lot of people, especially women, their voice boxes are closed off. And they have a hard time to speak their truth because they've been so influenced by everybody around them that like, if I wanted your opinion, I'd ask for it, or shut up, or whatever it is that closed that down from when you were young up into an adult. We would use pretty much the same technique, but we would change it to the voice. I give myself permission to speak. It's okay to speak. It's in one of those, it's safe to breathe. Because a lot of people don't feel that they can breathe without the fear of what's going on around them. So the EFT is amazing for that. And then you add in the fruits and the berries and melons and the vegetables, all live or steamed if they need to be cooked. It's a burden that's trapped in the body, and it makes dense tissue. And it's harder for the blood and the lymph to flow through that. It burns energy, actually. It burns more energy. And the more energy you can generate through your breath, because the breath is the energy, is the engine, kind of. Or you consider the heart the engine, and the airway is no different than, the air that the motor needs to run in your vehicle. Let's say the pipe was that big around and you cut it in half, it's not going to run as well. And if you can make it bigger, it would run even better. So that's the airway. And since the emotions run down both sides of our spine, right next to it. And so our eyes are connected to that. If you take your hands and fold them like this and put them behind your head, it's kind of hard to do because I'm sitting in the van, put them right at the base of your skull, okay, and put your head down and move your eyes around, you can feel those muscles moving. Your eye is connected to every muscle in the body. And since it's connected to all those muscles that run down both sides of your spine where your emotions live, they're constantly communicating, and your eyes are constantly looking for things that limit, things that fear, things that you love, everything. It all comes, the information comes in through the eyes and is triggering your emotions. So if you look to the left, your whole body will turn. You look to the right or you look up, your head automatically goes up and it automatically goes down. Our eyes are extremely powerful. And when they see things that interrupt it, it can even get exploded into the 4 quadrants of the mind. So a lot of times when people are depressed, they don't know why they're depressed. So we have a technique that we use, and all it is you look up and to the left, and they don't have to have an answer. And we make sure that they know that, because they don't actually know why they're depressed. And say, why are you depressed? And they don't know. And then you look down and to the left, and then over and down and to the right, and up and to the right, and up and to the left. And you keep asking that question over and over. And eventually words will start to form. Because the trauma was so dramatic, it blew it into all 4 quadrants. And by doing that and asking that question, they'll start to rebuild what created it. Then we can work on the EFT from there. And that is profound, how that will help people. I saw a 28-year-old woman who'd been on meds for like 14 years for depression, and she had no idea. And they did that technique with her, and within probably 10-15 minutes, they figured out, she put the whole story together.
Wow.
And it just changed her whole life. So she said, does that mean I don't have to take the medication anymore? And he goes, well, you have to talk to your doctor about that. But which is true. I mean, you know, we're not doctors, so we don't have the right to prescribe or take things away from people. You know, the doctor has to do that. But most of them, when you go try to explain what happened, they're just going to fall asleep. They're not really going to. They have to do their test, and if their test says you don't need the medication anymore, then you can wean yourself off in it or just get off in it, depending on the med. You know, it's like off-label. There's a group in Boston. I used to sit with one of the women that worked there, and that's what they did, was off-label. Well, if you have a prescribed drug and it's causing damage to people, well, let's back that up a little bit. So I'm a doctor, and I prescribe this for a certain prescribed illness, right? And this doctor over here says, well, I'll use that off label and I'll use it for this and this and this. And I seem to be getting results here. And there's a big database that they type all that in. So this one building has 2,300 people relabeling the exact same drug. So this drug is causing a problem. It happens all the time, birth defects or whatever. They don't actually change the pill. They change what it can be prescribed for in the off-label thing. Well, it seems to be getting pretty good results here. We'll just shift it over to that. And they relabel it and put it back out, which is criminal as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I'm not a lobbyist and I'm not in that realm. But there's a lot of things going on in the medical system that they're not, like a muscle relaxer. You don't need muscle relaxers. What's causing that is muscle tension, yes, but it's usually from stress. It's usually from things that have happened in our past. And when we can let go of that, those muscles will relax and your body will heal. Because that's what the body just wants to be neutral. It just wants to be 7.4. You know, it wants to be healthy and strong. And what's getting in the way is this thing right here, the brain. Healing is a feeling. If we could think ourselves well, nobody would be sick. And I've been challenging myself on that lately because when we're doing EFT, I am thinking. So I guess it's the duality of thinking. You can think yourself into dis-ease in the body, or you can think in a way and put your story together, because your story is a big part of what's creating what's going on in your body. And like I said, the mind can forget or it can forgive, but the body hasn't yet. And it lives in the body. So doing EFT and going through that, we're releasing what's in the body, the tension, through the breath. The breath will shift. And when the breath shifts, everything shifts. The story changes. You know, when people are angry, their words are real tight and hard and sharp. And when they're loving, they're soft and they're inviting. And they make you feel good. And that's what's basically missing in all this stuff. Our politicians right now, I mean, they're like, they're swearing at each other and tearing up, and they never used to do that. And what's happening is, and this is, to me, this is why it's happening, because I put a lot of thought into this. The people are becoming calm, and the politicians are going crazy. Where it used to be the politicians were calm and the people were kind of going crazy. And it is coming to a fever pitch, you know, energy. I consider it a vortex or a tornado. The energy is rising and rising and rising. And eventually it will hit the peak and then it will collapse. So that's what we're going through. That's all that's going on in the world, is the energy is going up and up and up, because the earth is detoxing. It's shifting, and the vibration is becoming much stronger, and it's affecting our bodies, and it's waking up billions of people. And as we awaken, we start to see the limitations that we're put under and how they've controlled us through fear. The best thing you do is shut off the media and spend time in nature. You know, the trees are the half of our lungs, and we're the other half of their lungs. So how do we know that trees didn't create us, right? To thin things out so that the bigger trees can grow better and stronger and faster. And when we pass, we go into the ground and become their fertilizer of all living things. You know, every cell or everything that's alive is made of cells, and every cell is a container for water. Doesn't matter if it's a tree or a blade of grass or a human. Doesn't matter. And cells divide. That's what they do, and they go through their seasons. And that's what we do. We go through our seasons. So, yeah, it's an amazing trip from what I have experienced in my life so far, and where I think the possibilities are that we can all go. It is mind-blowing, to say the least. You know, we're in the right place at the right time. We're recorders, is what we are. At least I am, and I know there's plenty of others out there. That's what we're observers, and we're recording everything that's going on. And that's going in the universal records through the thread that comes from each and every one of us through our pineal gland. It's just a frequency. It's constantly going out and constantly coming back. And the feedback, what's reflected back on us, is the story we tell and the intention we put on the words. And if it's bad, it's going to be bad. And if it's, in the beginning there was a word, and the word said, "Let there be light," which means words are more powerful than light. Words are quantum energy. And where are they? For us, they're between the heart and the head. And what's between the heart and the head is our story. And we're speaking the light and dark into our life simply by the words we choose and the emphasis we put on those words. I mean, it's such a beautiful, powerful story, In the book of your life, you open it up. And right now, most of us standing at a crossroad. The right-hand page says future, and the left-hand page says past. And we get to choose which one of those we're going to carry into the now. We're going to empower the now, either by letting go of the past so we don't keep dragging it in and coloring our future with it as we change our words and we change our story. It's kind of like if we get someone gets divorced or something, and it's devastating. As soon as they find somebody else or something else to take their attention, they start building a new story. And that story starts to define their life, and they become that new person. So it's fascinating being on good old planet Earth. And our breath is what brought us here. The first one is in. It turned on our electrical system, started our heart, our lungs, started blood flowing, the lymphatic system flowing, turned on the mind. And without that first breath, you can't be here. And our last breath is out. And that turns off the electrical system, and the energy goes back to source where it came from. And the body stays here to become fertilizer for everything that lives on planet Earth.
Thank you,
So
Gary.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we're already getting to almost an hour and a half. And
Okay.
I know that you can keep educating us all for another few more hours.
Yeah, oh, yes.
I
My-
I know, and you're doing it so beautifully, and it's so helpful for all of us. I was like with the showing us the EFT. I've known about EFT. I have the books about it. I practiced it many years ago, and then I
Mhm.
kind of got away from it and got kind of sucked into my own illness misery, and
Mhm.
I stopped doing it. But this was a good one to get back to it because I know it's very effective.
It's incredible. I've been probably have done it more in the past month than I have in the past year. But I do it when I kind of called to it. And when I hear people's story, I kind of go through it. The 6 lymphatic gates, I mean, those are so powerful. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I've had people with a lot of pain from TMJ, and we just did gate 1 and 2, and all the pain went away because it was stuck there. So as soon as I opened that up and dragged it down, boom, all that pressure went away. And that's inflammation. And that's always in the lymph. Inflammation is always in the lymphatic system.
True, and I think we need to rename this podcast. You're teaching us EFT and the tapping. There was an
What is EFT? What is the name?
emotional. It's called
Ah.
emotional freedom technique.
Oh, okay.
That is
Emotional
what EFT
freedom
stands
technique.
for. Yes,
EFT.
and that is what you just did. EFT.
I didn't know where does it come from.
That I do not know. Do you know? You probably know.
Gary Craig is the guy that came up with it. But it's probably very old. It's most likely a very ancient technique, and it's kind of been rebirthed because that's kind of what humans do. We rebirth. Just when it's going to disappear, somebody will reinvent it. But that's who I studied with. It was Gary Craig, and I have seen. We sat in a room. There was probably 100 of us, and we had a person in a wheelchair, and we had a brain monitor. They had a brain monitor on him and a screen. All that person did was sit there, and we all just focused our attention on that person and elevated our energy, and we watched his brain scan go up and down, and we were moving it, helping him heal. It was a bizarre moment, but one that I hope I never forget. We are that powerful. We are projecting energy all the time. Comes out the sides, comes out the front. I can, and I've done this many times, show people how far their consciousness goes. It's usually 6, maybe 10 feet out. I can show you like that, how to send that consciousness all the way around the world. And it's so easy. All you do is change your focus. That's it. And I use dowsing rods to do that. I can douse your health aura, see where there's any weak joints or I mean, it's incredible because we're water, and dowsing rods are used on water. So, and when we're dehydrated, we can't function properly. It's like a brook with only half the water in it. And if there's no water in it, you're done for, just like the brook. Dehydration is a serious thing. And I would dare say I'm not a big guy for percentages because they're kind of made up, but most people are dehydrated. Coffee dehydrates you. It is a stimulant. That's true. Sodas dehydrate you. Alcohol dehydrates big time. And it turns into
cooked food.
Yes. But the alcohol turns into sugar. And the sugar cuts your energy right off. That's why people feel so bad when they wake up in the morning. And it takes them a while. They have brain fog and their muscles and their joints hurt and all this stuff. It's all dehydration and lack of energy because of the sugar that was put in their body, and the body has to deal with that. That's why most people fall asleep, or I don't know about most, but people fall asleep when they're drinking. It's poison. It's going into the stomach, and you're forcing 60% of your energy to go down there and deal with that, and it kicks your adrenals up. And that's why people think that sugar gives them energy. It doesn't. It drains their energy. So interesting how that goes. I got a bee here beside me.
Yeah, when you were talking about, how important your thoughts are, yesterday or day before yesterday, I came across an image that said, "Never own a disease. The body can endure many things, but it is the mind that can truly set you free from suffering. Reduce the amount of time that you talk about being ill. Do not let illness dwell in your consciousness. Your body responds to your mental dialogue. A sick thought can devour the body. Be kind to yourself and your mind." So I've been sharing that amongst a variety of groups because we forget about that. We forget
That's very powerful.
we forget about what we are seeing, and it's like I'm well aware of it. I years ago I called myself, my own worst enemy with my negative thoughts. And I really had to consciously replace them by positive thoughts and by the yes I can do. The yes I can do was very life changing for me. And I grew up with always having to prove that I could do something because I was never good enough. So that lingers. And
Yes.
I need to get back with EFT.
Hmm.
Okay, I had some more questions, but I think I'm going to leave it as what we have been doing right now. I invited a young man, Michael, and he is listening to us right now. He is really struggling with emotional detox. He I was hoping he would come on live, but I think that with what you have been doing and showing Svetlana, Gary, that is already very helpful for him. And I think I'm going to, I'll send him some more of your videos. I think I already sent some. But yeah, the other questions are they can wait for next time.
Okay.
Katie had to leave. Something got stuck with her. She's listening to us, but she's not on live anymore. And I always love to listen to her, you know, her enthusiasm, her energy.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. But we're gonna leave it at this. I hope you don't mind, because I know you probably have a lot more to share. I think there were not any questions in the chat that were not answered, because I know Katie answered some questions. So we're good. So it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gary, and thank you, Svetlana, for coming on live.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely
very much.
beautiful. And you
Thank you.
look great. So don't let anyone tell you anything else. I would say thank you, Sara, of course, for being here and sharing your thoughts. They are always very insightful, so I always love to hear them. And everyone,
Thank you.
love to you all, and until the next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.